talking about this play.
Oh, well, that's a good tease.
'Cause this rate.
Except you made me forget what the hell I was supposed to be looking up here. I was about to look up something. And
Oh,
picked up my
whoops.
phone for something, and you gave me a 50-year-old brain here, brain
Yeah,
fart.
like,
So I'll just go back to my BLT and try to remember what the hell I was looking for.
what do you do? I mean, I know what I would do, but I wouldn't like it.
Up for this play.
Yeah, because like you're all gravy if this dude doesn't move. Like this is exactly what you want, but then he goes to the other side, and
You got to slide the front. I mean, I know what you're
yeah, but
saying, but
who is this dude at the end? Because like
or
now you're
walk
gonna
the
ask
back.
him to play a 4-eye
And you got to walk the backer up and move the two
and move him back,
backers,
walk him
shift them
back, and
over.
move him
Yep,
down. That's what
yep,
I thought, but then you gotta say, okay, well now Ty Lawson's gonna play a 7.
yes. What else you gonna do? So you gonna give up this? How many yards did it go for?
Um,
8, 9. Good hit. Right.
7, I guess.
And they ran this a couple of times, so some kind of tendency they saw. Anyway, no one to give everybody all the scoop. Hey, how'd you like the thing on Millions today? Did you see it?
You talking about that
Kippy! What's up, baby? Look at you, looking all slim. You know that guy, don't you? Here, come get in the screen so you can. You know him,
Oh,
JT?
what's up, Gilbert?
Yeah, he's saying what's up. Hmm.
Hey, JT.
Hello, how you doing?
How are you? Good. Good, good, good. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Glad you
So,
could make it into the bar.
yeah, I'm telling you, it's a pretty nice place. You mean the babysitter doesn't let you out?
No.
Y'all take care.
Uh, Bernice, I just want to tell her you with me. Okay, sorry.
Huh. So I guess if I start early, then we don't.
John,
Are we not actually live right now? I'm confused.
I see John in the chat.
Oh yeah, we're live on our channel.
Oh, not everybody else's.
I guess not. I don't know. Looks like we're not live on the Bamber Standard. All right.
All
Well,
right.
let me fix that because that'll be a little bit of a problem for us.
What's up, John O? John's scared to come out here anymore because he hadn't won a game of pool against me in 18 months. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Ever. What's up, Gerald?
The auto start's not on. Pourquoi? Why not?
All right. Well, I can use the old kind of start if you want. I know people are hearing our stuff, but if you want me to do the quick rundown of what we're doing, and then you can hit the button.
Yeah. Give me just 1 second because I think I just figured out what's going on. No, we're not live on.
See, Griff, this is stuff I don't know how to do that he knows how to do. I just talk football. He does all those things.
Well, apparently I don't know how to do it either. If we're being totally honest here.
You know how to do it. Because if it was me on it, I'd just be like, we're going to StreamYard. Meet me over there. Something else.
All right, we're gonna try to start again. Oh, I actually have to hit the goal. All right, YouTube. Fine, we'll do it your way.
YouTube's fault. Likely story. That's what the kids do, Griff. They always blame it on the other folks.
It is. I should just be able to hit the go live button right here on my screen and it should go to all the places.
Roll
All
Tide, Todd.
right. Okay, so now that
Crazy
we worked through all
everybody
that, the last thing I'm going to do is take this flashing red clock off of your guys' screen. And, all right, we're ready.
All right. Well, looky here, man. Thank you guys for tuning in to Teague's Take. Couple things first. I am at the Lantern as always, but the Rangers are playing today. So the people in the bar can't hear what I'm saying because it's a pretty important game going on, right? But that doesn't keep us from doing what we do here. We got a very special guest who you're already seeing on the screen because we kind of changed it up a little bit. I'm going to introduce him in a little bit. We got to talk about him, what he has going on. We got to talk about these college football rankings. Do we like what is how that looks for us right now? And then, as always, we have to be able to get to some plays. Before we get to that, make sure you subscribe. Get your people to subscribe to our YouTube page. Like it. Thank you to Bama Standard for the collaboration that we have going on, doing the simulcast. Millions adding us in as well. Great things are happening for Teague's Take, and we're glad that you are here. So we want to get this party started right now. Oh man, I like when we just do it on the fly, man. You know, see that's why people like this because we're unscripted. We just go at it. JT says do it. He reads me well, but I don't know. I guess if he's my son, I guess maybe he's supposed to know what his dad's up to. So I do appreciate him very well. Again, make sure you give us the subscriptions, the likes, and all those kind of things. Thank you to the Bama Standard for all the support that they're giving us. Thank you to Millions and the stuff that they're starting to do with us as well. All right. So I want to get into it because we got so much going on and we get to this film session. It takes quite a bit of time. JT, man, what's up with you, man? Did y'all have a good practice today? Were you freezing out there at practice or?
I was not freezing. I've been dressed appropriately all week. Some of these kids, they want to be all tough and act like it ain't cold outside. And Monday, they was a little chilly. They want to come out here and don't want to have no shirts on under their pads and pull up their jerseys and whatnot, pretend it's not cold, but it was cold.
So what? Before we get to our guests, how hard is it to go from a two? It was 30 degrees in the morning. I mean, I know it probably was 40 something in it. On game day on Friday for you against Shelton, which I also coached at. JT coached that, helped me coach there. He's playing against someone that we've seen before. It's going to be like 70 degrees on Friday.
Nah.
Okay, look it up. So you're practicing this cold, like you're saying, and it's going to warm up.
Nah, kickoff is going to be 50. Oh, wait, no, that's Thursday. Yep, kickoff is going to be 64.
Yeah, see? So, your guys, now you got to talk about hydration and all this kind of stuff. What are you telling your kids, man? Well, it don't sound like you're telling them anything.
Yeah,
You
I ain't
tell them
telling
something, because they ain't watching the weather.
Well, the two things that we tell them every week is hydrate and bathe.
Bathe?
Yes.
Shoulder pads stink. Y'all ain't cleaning their shoulder pads. Okay, well, let's do this, man. I gotta really, JT, we got one that I had the opportunity to meet him person to person in Huntsville at a Red Elephant Club meeting there who he volunteers for and help raise some money for University of Alabama. But this gentleman that I want to bring in, he's from Jasper, Alabama. Man, it seems like we're getting all these little small towns in Alabama, right? These guys.
Yeah, at least, but at least you can
there.
spell this one without having to look it up.
That's right. That is spelled exactly how it sounds. He was a first team All-State lineman. I didn't know that he was a defensive lineman at the time, but he ended up playing offensive line at the University of Alabama at University of Alabama. 3 years. So I'm very interested in being able to talk to him about that because he started 3 years as guard, right? 1999. You know what they did? They did something we weren't able to do in '92. Uh, he got to beat Auburn in Jordan Hare. It was the first time they ever won a game there. That is a big, monumental thing. They went on to win the SEC championship, beating Florida in that game. He's an all SEC team member. Went on to graduate from the University of Alabama with a communication degree. Switched fields now. He looks so young. It's kind of hard for me to believe he's been working for 22 years, but he's been in the packaging industry for 22 years. Works with Atlantic Packaging Company right now. Does what we like. Volunteer his time. Boys and Girls Club, uh, Red Elephant Club. Also with he's a board member for the Rotary Club. I I kind of want to know about that too because I always think about old people when I think about the Rotary Club, but that's probably not the right way to put it. But that is kind of how I think. He's married, has 3 kids. Man, he's just active and he's here with us today. Let's go ahead and bring in Griff Redmill. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look at him, man. He got on that fancy shirt.
Hey guys, how you
How
doing?
you doing, brother?
I'm great, man. I just realized you got young Griff back here, and you got new Griff, old Griff right here.
Hey, you look the same.
So
Y'all look exactly. Oh, you did anything with your hair?
take a
Maybe
closer look.
you might have dyed it a little bit. I don't know if you got but we do appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us.
Yeah, man, happy to be here.
Yeah. So first, why don't you just we want to talk about you a little bit first, okay? Professional life. You're doing some packaging. What is that? What does that mean? Like,
So we do a lot of different things, So I got into this business
Oh, we lost Griff there for a second.
he's freezing.
Yeah.
Hold on, we're waiting for you to come back.
Can you hear us?
I know. Now at the worst time. We had him fine beforehand.
I
Sales guy.
know. I hear him saying something, but let's see. Is that him texting? I'll see if he answers. But anyway, we'll get him back in here as we go into this. Griff.
Did I lose you?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I
Now
got
you're
you now.
back. All right.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
I'm getting a pretty big lag on my end over here.
Okay. Well, we're good. We're back. We missed kind of what you were saying.
Yeah, you're gonna have to start over for us.
All right, I'll take it from the top. So I got into the packaging business right out of college. Um, I was like everybody else thinking the NFL's. I was going to be playing the NFL for 10 or 15 years and make a bunch of money. And when that didn't happen for me, I had to find a real job. So um, I linked up with a gentleman named Bernie Fielder who was in this business, and he was looking for a salesman. And I had no qualifications for the job, but Bernie, he was a huge Bama fan, and my now wife, her family was friends with his family, and so they were connected there. And he hired me and taught me everything I know about this business, and I've been doing it for 22 years. So, we do custom packaging, so a lot of different things, custom corrugated items, custom fabricated foams, custom fabricated plastics, just about anything that you can cram under the category of packaging, we do. So it's not what I thought I would be doing when I was a kid. Looking at my adulthood years and what my typical job I thought I might be doing, but it's something I've come to love, and it's done well for me and my family.
All right. Yeah. So excellent, man. I appreciate that. And so this, because I had the opportunity to speak to the Red Elephant Club down in Panama City here not too long ago. So can you kind of tell us a little about that, a little bit about that organization? that you're volunteering with?
Sure. So Relevant Clubs, they're basically a booster club for the University of Alabama, and primary focus is to endow football scholarships. That's the whole premise that they were created on. One thing I learned after I got involved with Red Elephant Clubs, I did not know when I was in school, is that every one of those athletic scholarships is endowed by somebody or some entity. Our Red Elephant Club, I believe we've endowed 2 so far, working on a third. We got a kid. There's a kid. I think it was Brian Branch was our last one, and so whoever endows that scholarship, that you get a booklet on your kid that your scholarship is supporting. And when I was in school and I was on a scholarship, I just thought the university, covered the funds on all those. But one thing I learned through the Red Elephant Clubs is those scholarships are all endowed by some person or some entity, and so that was interesting to me. So our members, we have about 160 members at our club in Huntsville. There's about 13 clubs scattered across Alabama and some of the other southeastern states. And the primary focus is endowing those scholarships for our football athletes. And so with that, you get 5 or 6 opportunities a year where you have a club meeting, and they'll send a coach or an administrator in some cases, and they speak to our club, and we get insight because of our proximity to the club and our relationship. You get a little bit of insight that the average fan probably doesn't get. Our people are, it's against the rules to rebroadcast anything that goes on there. So, the coaches are a little more comfortable kind of giving you some inside scoop and something that our members enjoy. And it's been a fun organization to be a part of.
Appreciate it. And I will get to the Inquisitive Prince in just a second. I just wanted to follow up one last thing about this. So, because a lot of people think it's only for alumni or something, but if anybody's just a supporter of Alabama, how do they, because we have fans in your area that listen to our show and maybe they want to support that. How do I actually join up with you before we move on to another topic?
Yeah. So I'm specifically with the Huntsville Red Elephant Club. And so if you live in North Alabama, primarily Madison County, Morgan County, Limestone County, that's really about our reach for our Huntsville Club. And you're interested in becoming a member, just shoot us an email at huntsvillerec@gmail.com. I can get you a membership application. I mean, it's I think it's a lot easier to become a member than a lot of people realize. First year dues are $500, and then recurring dues year after year are $350. And so for that, you get 4 to 5 meetings at the Jackson Center a year. As I mentioned, where a coach will come to speak. Usually we plan one additional extra meeting. We've had Tony Barnhart. We've had you. We've had Tom Luganbill at those extra meetings. You get dinner, you got an open bar for an hour. And so when you divide it up, 4, 5, 6 meetings a year, $350 is not that much money for the insight you get.
Oh, well, you talking about insight. I'm thinking 4 to 5 open bars for an hour. I mean, I could probably get $400 or $500 worth of.
Yeah, and trust me, they do.
Okay, well, let me get into this to our guest question. JT, the Inquisitive Prince asks. He's asking about the strip of Lamar Thomas, the reason why he became an Alabama fan, and really want to know what happened that day or on that play. I mean, so I'll do this today because I appreciate you making the contribution into to the show. So, playing a national championship, first of all, is a super big deal. It's kind of what you just kind of live for, or why you're going to college. Typically, when you go to Alabama or a school like ours, to try to win a national championship. And so I was ultra ready just to be able to get in there and play because they were talking so much trash to us. They had very famous people, I would say, Miami people that like to talk a lot of trash. What most people forget, and I've probably said this multiple times already on a lot of different platforms, is on that play when I actually stripped the ball, I was kind of loafing, honestly, because a lot of people forget when I actually stripped the ball beforehand. So I had stripped the ball before it was a big celebration. I'm sorry. When I had the interception, I took it back for a touchdown. And I was really, really tired, and I had to go right back out there. And then I had to go chase Lamar down. So I was hoping that my corners were going to do what I was hoping they were going to do, but I was in 2-man. If you don't know what that is, I was supposed to be playing deep, and I was kind of taking the play off. Well, lo and behold, they threw the deep ball right to the guy's area that was loafing. So I became scared quickly, and you do a lot of things when you're scared. You lift cars, you wrestle people, you fight people, you do all that, and all I knew was I had to go get this guy. And so I put my best track form on, and then everything else just kind of came into play. It was a godsend, honestly. I knew I wanted to strip the ball when I could catch him. I didn't think it was going to bounce up into my face and I'd turn around and go the other way. But that's just kind of the way it went. So it was definitely a highlight of my career. And, it's special when you could talk about plays that happen. I'm saying that humbly for me, right? That happened in 1993, and to be still talking about it is pretty amazing. Okay, can we go to playoffs or the playoff bracket a little
Playoffs?
bit? Y'all want to talk playoffs? Yeah, the rankings. We need to be able to talk about the rankings a little bit. So Bama falls in at number 8. Now, I'll ask Griff first. Do you think that's about the right spot that they want to be? Maybe JT wants to put up where everybody else is. Ohio State 1, Georgia 2. Does that shock you that Georgia's 2 and that we're at number 8?
Well, I'm not really shocked that we're number 8. Of course, I'm disappointed we're not number 1 because we're so used to being at that spot, 1 or 2. But I mean, it is what it is this year. We've, of course, we got a loss to Texas, and then we've not shown well in other games. So I'm not so sure we shouldn't be glad to be at 8. But we got a big one coming up this weekend. But we win all these games, win out, and we're right there in the hunt. So it really doesn't matter. I mean, it's really something for the fans. They get up in their feelings about it. But I'm hoping that it's motivation for our guys to keep the eye on the prize and keep clipping them off one game at a time, so we're in the hunt at the end. I'm a little surprised that Georgia was not at 1. That was a little bit of a surprise for me.
I think that was a pretty big surprise for me too, JT, that Georgia was not number 1. I mean, Ohio State hadn't been just like blowing it out of the park either.
No, but I think I've gotten pretty in tune to how the committee looks at these kind of things. Frankly, Georgia ain't played nobody, Paul. So I think the committee takes that into account. But yes, as B. Jamin said, Ohio State hasn't lost, and they've won about 3 quality games. They did beat Penn State, which was a pretty good win. And then they beat Notre Dame, which was also a nice quality win. Georgia just with them having to take Oklahoma off the schedule this year, it's been one of the softest schedules I've seen. That's no fault of Georgia's, but it is what it is. So at least they're number 2. As always with these first rankings, I always think that they're more meaningless rankings, right? Just like the AP, none of it matters. It will sort itself out. If Alabama wins all the games that they got left in front of them, they'll be in. It's as simple as that, especially since they're going to have to go through Georgia. And Michigan and Ohio State will, so I'm going to put the graphic back up here. Michigan and Ohio State will have to play each other. So that'll work itself out. Washington and Oregon, one of them, if they win their conference, will be in.
So are you worried about or surprised like what Craig Young was saying about Michigan not being number 1? I mean, they've been running through people.
Yes. Am I surprised that they're not number 1? No, I'm not surprised they're not number 1 either.
Thank you.
Kind of that same thing of Michigan has been taking care of business. They're doing the things they're supposed to do. They're beating the teams they're supposed to beat. But they really haven't played anybody yet either. So they have a chance to claim that number 1 spot if they go and they beat Ohio State again. I don't even know if they have Penn State this year. I think they do. I think that's their 2-game, what I would consider a 2-game schedule is Penn State, Ohio State. You beat those 2, you got a good chance. But If you don't, then you don't have anything to rest back on, such as like Alabama does. Alabama lost to Texas, but then you can go down and you say, okay, well they beat Ole Miss. They have an opportunity to beat LSU, and then if they make it to the championship game, it'll probably be Georgia, and then they beat Tennessee. So they've got those things to kind of wash away the loss. But if Michigan loses to Ohio State, you can't look at the rest of it and be like, okay, so you beat Rutgers by 40 or whatever, and then you beat, I don't know who else they played, Northwestern, Illinois, whatever, who ain't on this list. So,
Well, oh man, I have to go ahead and give a plug to this bar again. I don't know if the Rangers are winning. I didn't look up at the score, and they're in the commercial right now.
I'll give you an update if I see something, because I got it right here on the screen.
Okay, well, you can do that. I'm only saying that because I'm assuming they must have scored because someone just brought me a shot bigger than I don't. I don't even want to pick it up because that thing is ridiculously large. But anyway, okay. So, how important is this game, man? This is really the you lose, you're out
Yes.
kind of game, right? Coming up, Griff.
Absolutely. Yeah, they got to get a win here. It's gonna be a tough one. I'm sure LSU is gonna be, frothing at the mouth for this one too. So it's an important one. It's kind of a do or die situation for Alabama if they plan to be in the postseason.
Well, can we really? I've said this before. Typically, I'm looking back. Okay, I don't know if JT looks forward or not. That's not really kind of how we're built. We know they got some weapons and some things, but they got the quarterback, right? Daniels, who can hurt you. So, what is it we got to do to be able to contain him? I want to toss this over to JT. When you got the running quarterback, got to throw it. You got some receivers. What are you really trying to do with the mindset of the defense to say, hey, contain this dude?
Okay, well, hold on. Before that, I did promise Justin I would get this in here for Griff. So Justin wants to know about the psychological toll it takes on you being Marvin Constant's teammate.
Let me tell you, man, mental toughness is key if you're going to be bros with Marvin Constant, because it's a lot. It's a lot of noise, a lot of words. It's a lot about, it's a lot about Marvin. So you got to be ready to listen to it all.
So yeah, just listen to the Bama Standard in the show. That's exactly right. I couldn't have said it any better because it's all about Marvin, the 45.
Love him though.
Yeah, JT does too. They kind of go at it a little bit because they're both very smart and intellectual, so they're always debating.
Marvin will tell you how smart he is. He doesn't mind at all.
Which, by the way, I think Marvin's supposed to be on Teague's Take next week. So he's going to be giving this and have his analysis of our defense for sure. He wasn't a very big fan of Pete Golden. I don't know if he's been a fan of any defensive coordinator that we had, actually.
Not since Kirby Smart, I guess.
He doesn't hesitate to let him know about it either.
Okay, so let's go into that, JT, about preparing for a team like this. It's playoff atmosphere to me. It's almost like this is your game.
Yeah, so I think I think this is one of those games where you can't look at the team's strengths. The team's strengths for Alabama is their defense. The team's strengths for LSU is their offense. I think this is going to come down to Jalen Milroe versus LSU secondary. Both can be suspect at times. I think LSU and Brian Kelly knew that they were going to have a problem with their secondary this year. That's why they brought in 4 transfers. Their top transfer that actually was getting a lot of clock is hurt. He will not play this game. And then the other 3 are either injured or inactive. So I think if I know this, Tommy Reese has to know this, and maybe we start seeing more receivers on the field, more maybe a little bit more empty, things like that to try to bring on extra DBs because their defensive back room is a little bit depleted. And Jalen Milroe, for all of his credit, has been averaging 13 yards a pass. So it ain't like that we already know he ain't trying to dink and dunk all the way down the field. They're taking shots. It's run the ball, and sometimes I feel like is run the ball and Isaiah Bond is down there somewhere. Just chuck it and pick up a touchdown or a big chunk play like that. So I think that's where the game's going to be won and lost. LSU's defense is not it, and the Alabama offense has to be able to take advantage of that. Otherwise,
Yes, sir.
we will. I think it's going to be a dogfight either way. The line is -3. I did have a poll out on our channel to see whether people thought we were going to cover or not. However, Teague's Take Power Poll has Alabama at 10, or Alabama at 11, LSU at 10. And they would say it says on a neutral field that LSU would be favored by half a point, which means at home Alabama should be favored by about 2. It's pretty close. So I think this one could come down to who has the ball last.
Okay. Yeah. No, I agree. And that's make sure if you guys want to see more about that, what JT's put up with this poll, visit our website at teagstake.com. Don't forget that you can also follow our channels, Teague's Take on Twitter or X, and Teague's Take on Instagram. We do posts about the show on there. Okay, so I want to ask Griff about this, to kind of follow up on him, but also kind of give the mindset of a player if you could, because you've played in big games. It's a night game. How much difference does that really make in your preparation from playing at 2:30 versus 6:45 or 7 o'clock in the evening?
Well, from my experience, I don't know that it changed a whole lot. The one thing when I was playing, unfortunately, we played a lot of 11 o'clock, 11:30 Jefferson Pilot games. We played a lot of those. And, that's a different animal right there because you got to get up at 5 a.m. and just, the whole pregame process was, it's so long that you got to start so early. So, it was really a thing of the past. And, so 2:30 or 6:45, it's more of a normal day. But there's something about a night game in Bryant-Denny Stadium or in Death Valley that's just next level. I mean, just the excitement and the anticipation. When the sun goes down and those lights come on and the crowd's been getting ready and primed up, all day and all afternoon long. It's there's a different level of excitement with a night game.
Crowd getting ready, is that code word for they've been drinking all day?
Yeah, it's pregame. It's pregame.
Yeah,
because they've been getting lathered up and mad and glad all in the same pants.
Well, they become the best coaches during the game at that point in time because they know everything about everything. So, I think it's just it's one of those games where I think I didn't like playing at night, fellas. I shouldn't say I didn't like it. I liked it, but I probably was a little bit more anxious than Griff. I think we're probably different in the back end. I don't know about you, JT, how you felt about that. That just, to me, my whole routine changed because, I wanted to get up at the same time, but now that 7 o'clock, 7:30 wake up to go eat breakfast, knowing you're not going to play till later, it was.
Well, I can't. My take on night games is going to be very different from you two, because all the night games that I've ever played have all been in high school. That's all I knew was night games, right? They're all at 7:30, and then when I got to college, I was playing for an FCS team who wasn't on national television, so we never had no night games. I've also never had an 11 o'clock game. That's weird. I don't know what it's like to get up at 5 a.m. to have to get ready for a game. All of my games were sometime in between noon and. Actually, I did play one night game. I take that back. I played one night game, first game of the year. So I don't know. That was on campus anyway. to me, I've never played a road night game. So my routine kind of was the same anyway, because we were in a 12 to 3:30 window all the time. The weirdest one, I remember having to go to Indiana to play Butler, and that was a 12 o'clock kick. So we had to get up and have our breakfast in the ballroom or whatever, and then bus over to Butler. But that wasn't terrible.
Okay, well, good. All right, so we've had a little bit of small talk. I feel like it's going to be really important for us to get into this film because we love that part. But before we go into that, JT, I need to make just another quick announcement that there's Griff was talking about the Red Elephant Club here. Remember that we always try to support Titan, Texas, out here in the Metroplex, and there will be a Christmas party that you need to attend. It's at the Dallas Country Club. Tickets are $35. $25 if you're under 35 years old. This is just time to go out, meet some Alabama fans, have a good time, spend a lot of Roll Tide. For the money, you get some drink tickets and you get the hors d'oeuvres, some music, and you get to hang out and just be around some of us. Reminder, I haven't even told JT this yet. 11-11. So for the Alabama football game, I'm going to do another watch party, kind of like what we did before, where I'm watching the game with you guys. Make sure that you are tuning in to Millions.
Yep. Sorry, guys. I will not be in attendance for that one. That is my anniversary.
No, he will be in his anniversary. That's why I didn't even talk to JT about it, because I didn't want to bother him about it. But I'll be there unless JT's going to take me on their anniversary trip or whatever they're going to do. If you just want someone to keep the grandkids or something of that nature.
I've already talked to your wife.
Well, you ain't talked to me yet. No, we want to babysit the kids on the trip. We don't necessarily want them to come. We want to travel with you. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, make sure go to TitanTexas.com to learn more about the Christmas party. Pay attention to what's going on at Teague Football and at Teague's Take about the watch party, because I will be in the house with the Tide fans, and we will be recording it live for the 3 hours or 4 hours or however long the game lasts, where I'll be answering questions in game, which will be a little bit different. Okay, so don't forget to go ahead and give us a subscribe and likes to our YouTube channel here. Give all the likes that you can to Bama Standard as well. Find our merch at the Millions, and we need to start moving on, JT. So give our plug about what everybody needs to do now, because we got to get to the film session, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Well, Coach Smook is in the building. He made it. We are about to get into our film session. Y'all know how this goes. So those of you on the recorded podcast, come find us live.teagstake.com. You'll find our latest content, our latest live stream there, and you'll be able to catch up on all the film and insight that Griff is about to drop on you about some offensive line play. So come find us there. If you're already here watching us live, stay here because you're not going to want to miss it. All right, let's transition here. We're going to get into clip number 1 after I get out of studio mode. Okay. Yeah, so some of you guys, if you were here early, unlike Coach Smook, although glad you made it, we were kind of talking about alignment. We'll try to go through that again. You were kind of getting our raw thoughts before, but how do we want to start with this? You want to preface on what's going on here? Obviously, it's 1st and 10. Tennessee has the ball.
Yeah, why don't you just set up a little bit like you did? Maybe alignment. What are we looking at before the play actually happens?
Yeah. So the first thing that I always like to look at is, well, this is me being the defense coordinator, right? So the first thing that I always like to look at is the defensive front and are we lined up correctly? Now, most of the time, I would say a high level FBS SEC team should be lined up correctly, because they wouldn't be if they weren't. But I coach high school, so I'm always trying to figure out if we lined up correctly. So this looks like a 4-down front. This looks like a 4-2, maybe a 4-2-5. But the techniques of the defensive linemen tell me that it is, in fact, not a 4-down front. It's a 3-down front. It's an odd front. We have 2 defensive ends that are in 4 eyes, which means they're shaded inside shoulder of the tackle. From this angle, they very well could be 3s, but I doubt it. That's a little dangerous to get into a bare front, and you don't have no outside help. So we're going to assume 4 eyes, a 4-eye, a 0, and another 4-eye, and then we have a guy hanging off the edge. Yes, B. Jamin says they're getting paid now. They better be lined up right. Absolutely. So as we were talking about before the show, this alignment right here with the back to the bottom of the screen is exactly, I think, what Kevin Steele wants. And then as we...
You're talking about the sniffer?
Yes.
What I was called sniffer before.
Yes. I think right now, this is exactly the look that they drew up on the board. And then this right here is exactly the opposite of what they want on the board. But I bet they still say, hey, we're probably okay here. So you got anything to add before we start rolling this clip?
Yeah, no, I think you did a tremendous job with that. You know, just me personally, when you had it before with the sniffer back on the other side, you know, it just seems like a short corner off the beginning because of the 4-eye and where the linebacker is. Just from looking at it, I go, man, it's too easy to double team up on the defensive tackle and work his way up to the linebacker just because of angles. You know, even without the guy moving, it seems like this play that we're going to see, which is a speed option, even if that tight end doesn't move, I feel like speed option up to the top is going to work.
I would disagree. I think right now speed option to the top doesn't work.
You still got somebody who's going to take the quarter. So you're looking at the defensive coordinator. You're saying you got to have somebody for the quarterback and somebody for the pitch.
Yeah,
I don't see 2 guys up there that can do that. Or that they can do it, but you're asking your linebacker to. He's really got to beat that right tackle.
So this is the way I look at it. Let me see if I can find. All right. So that's the line of scrimmage. So we'll let other guys in the chat know kind of like what my defensive principles are, at least in high school. So I always draw this little line right here. Well, I put it on a slide and I put all the position in here, and I tell the guys, this is the umbrella. This is always the umbrella, because we kind of line up similar to this, right? And I tell the guys, if you are under the umbrella, that is this side, if you're under the umbrella, you are a spill player. Everything has to run off of this table. We got to force everything out this way. If you are outside of the umbrella, you are a force player. So like Malachi here, he's a force player. This safety back here somewhere, he's a force player. Those are the guys that keep it in. We got guys pushing it out. So all that to say is, I'm saying that, where's my pen? This guy, he's responsible for quarterback.
Yep.
This guy responsible for pitch man. This guy, he's got both. He's got to play both. Now I understand what you're saying as, you're saying the defensive end is in a 4-eye, so this tackle up here can just leave, right?
He's going to dual block. They're going to double him up to the backer. And this is why I want to talk. We'll make sure we get Griff on this after we make our point here. Go ahead and finish making your point on, because I like to hear what he's saying about this on how he sees that from both sides of the ball. So go ahead.
I'm saying that if they double the end here and work up to the backer, if I stop erasing stuff, right, and they work up right here, I'm saying by the time that happens, this action by the quarterback and the running back, you're dragging me to it. I think it's too quick. There's no play fake right here, right? He just takes it and goes. So I would, to make my point here, I'm looking at the sniffer and I'm saying right now, if the sniffer is on the other side, they have no play. Because he's already beat the tackle. They have no play here.
I hear you. But I think that the angle, I don't think that the quarterback ran this right, that it really should be downhill and not lateral anytime
That's fair.
you're running the option. So he will get to the line of scrimmage a whole lot faster. But anyway, okay, so let's bring in Griff with that. Great job, JT. We'll explain that, and I'm sorry if my microphone is loud, but sounds like the Rangers are making some hits over here, so everybody's screaming, so I have to keep turning my mic off. All right, so Griff, first talk to us about that with duo blocks, combination blocks. What are you being taught as a guard and a tackle, or maybe if you're the tackle and the tight end, or how you go from one defensive lineman up to the linebackers?
Yeah, well, especially on a play like this, one thing that's changed in this game is so different than it was 20 years ago is the spread concepts, the RPOs, and that's changed a lot of things about offensive line plays. It's changed the way they take wider splits. So the important thing when it comes to duo blocks, you got to get hip to hip. Well, doing that with a 2-foot split versus a 3-foot split, that's a much taller task. So on this play, these two guys do about as good of a job of getting hip to hip and getting movement on this 4-eye technique as you see. And part of the reason for that, I believe, is again today's game. A lot of times they're coming to the line of scrimmage and they may have 3 or 4 plays called, and especially on the look they get is going to determine what they do. So the way the guys are coached today, your stance has got to be the same. It's got to look the same. Whether you don't know if you're going to be drive blocking, if you're going to be pulling, if you're going to be pass blocking. So the days of just being able to tee up and blast somebody off the ball, you don't see that very often. But if you run the option, you know what you're going to do. So in this instance, they're able to just hunker down, get hip to hip, and get movement and pick off this backside backer on their way to the second level. So they blocked it on the front side about as well as you can do it. I agree with JT. If you don't have this sniffer in motion right here, it changes everything because I believe 32 is locked up with this H-back, so he's responsible for him. And really the only reason that, and this is a good play against this look for Tennessee, but the only reason it wasn't worse is I think 32 plays it so well, stringing it along, allowing 13 to force it. The fact that the quarterback, I don't think played it very well. He should have been more aggressive downhill at the pitch guy. But him widening like that and 32's ability to keep pushing it out minimized it, in my opinion.
Yes, sir. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, and we'll get in here and talk about this hit that Caleb Downs made on him. But I want to, Griff, I want you to kind of talk to us about. So when I'm looking at this, I look at the backside block too, left side, the tackle, right? What do you guys call this stuff, and what are you really trying to teach when you're running away from a guy? And he's, if our line is, I don't know, this is called slant. I think they're just reading what's happening, the defensive lineman. So what is this left tackle of Tennessee trying to get accomplished here?
Well, what I think he's probably trying to do, he's just trying to cut off this guy. When you're backside on a play like this, it's going wide. Generally speaking, whether it's option, whether it's toss, any of those wide plays away from you, you don't have to do anything magnificent. You just got to make sure you get between your guy and where the play's going, so that he can't fold over the top and make a play, make a hustle play. And I think what he's trying to do, this is, when I was at Bama, Neil Callaway, we would have cut this guy probably. I don't even know if you can do that anymore. Maybe
you can, but it has to be at the point of attack.
Gotcha. So he preferred to get that guy on the ground. But one thing I learned from Chris Samuels after his first training camp with the Redskins, he was back in town and he was kind of showing some of those guys that were still in school some technique. When they would either trying to reach a guy, whether you're trying to cut him off the backside or whether it's a front side, wide reach. They would teach them, get your outside hand on the shoulder pad and then dip and rip the guy just like a defensive lineman's trying to do when he's trying to get past an offensive guard or offensive tackle. Because all you're trying to do is shield the guy. So, really with this left tackle, it's kind of what he's trying to do. You see him turn his shoulders like he's trying to get skinny and get upfield. I really think it's just maybe not a great effort play on his part, which you're also going to see out of backside guys on wide plays like this sometimes. If there's a play to loaf on, you'll see it on a play like this.
Okay, I want you to flip your hats. And by the way, we had a lot of eruption when I had my thing off here, and the Rangers are up 1-0. Okay, so can you flip hats for a second and go to the defensive side of the ball, Griff, because you did both, right, as you said. So we're going back to that dual block at the top, and we're looking at our left defensive tackle. What are you trying to tell the defensive lineman on how to defeat that so you're not getting drove back? I mean, he's already 5 yards down, away from the line of scrimmage. I know you're going to have to give someone, you got 700 pounds worth of it, but what are you telling a defensive lineman on how to split those two linemen that are on you, or what do you have to do to anchor down so you're not getting driven back, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards?
Yeah, well, first of all, if I was really good at defensive techniques, they'd have kept me on that side of the ball instead of moving me to guard. But I'll give. I did listen a time or two, so what I think they're probably trying to coach these guys in a situation like that is, all right. So what are they trying to do to you? They're trying to get hip to hip, keep their shoulders and hips square, move you off the ball. So what do you got to do? Well, you got to try to split that. So you got to be aggressive at the point of attack because you got to know what's coming. You got to know there's two of them coming at you and coming hard, and you got to turn your shoulders and try to get in between them and just counter attack what they're trying to do to you. And but the last thing you want to do is get on roller skates and give up a bunch of ground, because all you're doing is giving that quarterback a lot of extra green grass and making that the pitch control guy's job a lot harder by having to defend that extra area. So, I would think that they probably prepared for this play because Tennessee's mixed this in all year long just enough to keep people on their toes. But they definitely did a great job with this duo block on the front side here.
Okay, excellent. So let's go ahead and get on to the outside part here, JT, with Malachi Moore. And what do we think about this? When you got two guys running at you, like you said, typically he's supposed to have the pitch.
Yeah, so we're talking about this in chat right now, which you probably can't see. It's in the Bama Standard chat. But so let's kind of rewind a little bit back to what we were talking about when you said when you get this motion, right? And now you have an extra gap. You were talking about earlier that they needed to shift the front, right? You just want the guys to bump over. And I was saying, yes, you could, but I don't know who this dude is down here and whether or not you actually want him at a 4-eye might be problematic for you. So what we had also talked about was making 32 walk down to his 5 or 7. I don't know how they play sniffers, but have him walk down to the 5, bump over the other linebacker, and then walk the 5 off of the line. I should be drawing this. I apologize for the audience.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but they might not know what you're talking about. Basically, they're going to take 32, walk him down to the
my browser just crashed on my other computer here, so you have to give me a second to get my.
Basically, taking the two linebackers just flipping the formation, not flipping the formation, but the defense alignment, so it mirrors the other way.
Yes. Okay. All right. My
All right.
pen is back. So basically, what we want to do is we want to take this guy here and move him down. Take this guy here, move him over, and then take this guy. Oops, that's a terrible circle. Take this guy and move him back. So we're gonna shift. All right. Well, looks like we have no have no
We
more
got your
pen.
point.
So
We're good.
that's
We're
okay.
good.
So from there, then you could say, hey, Malachi, you can take the pitch man because now somebody has this gap, right? But as it stands, as this play is run, there is nobody to turn this back into right now. Malachi's help is outside because you do not want to create a vertical seam right here. If he's able to put his foot in the ground and run up the hash,
Problems.
yes, it's probably not going for 6 here because they're 85 yards away. Did I do that math right? Yeah, they're 85 yards away, but you cannot give up the vertical seam here because this is the question I ask my players all the time. My defense players, I ask them, who is the best tackler on the defense? Do you know who it is? Do you know who would you say is Alabama defense's best tackler?
Caleb Downs.
No. The best
There
tackler,
you go.
and somebody can clip this, the best tackler is the sideline. The sideline never
Yep.
misses a tackle. The sideline
Sure
doesn't get blocked. The sideline has never been afraid on 4th and 10 and the lights are bright and Death Valley. The sideline is going to make the tackle every time. It don't care how big you are. It don't matter how fast you are. If you can get that dude to the sideline will make the tackle. So in this case, if he pitches this out, if we keep stringing this out to the sideline,
He gonna run out of bounds.
yes, the tackle's going to be made. Now, Caleb does make a pretty good hit right here.
He does. And that was the last piece. I think this is good. I can't see the angle, but I'm hoping that he's tackling safe. I know he's trying to bring the wood, but it does look like he ducks his head a little bit. That kind of scared me a little bit. Yeah. All right, I think we wore this play out enough because there's so much in this play, and hopefully you guys respect that and understand that there's just so many different things that you could do with a speed option and who has a quarterback and who has a pitch. If you add a dive person in there, it changes it up even more. Now someone has to take the dive back, the quarterback, and the pitch. So it was a good one to talk about. But I want to go into this piece, and this is a pass protection issue that I feel like we need to talk about. The TV, when you watch the TV copy, they did kind of highlight Proctor because he got jammed in a little bit. But I really, my emphasis on this is really kind of talk technique about it and how we can actually be a little bit better and maybe look at all the linemen, but specifically our left tackle. So we'll let it run first, and then we'll get Griff's take on this. It's a rush. You're kick sliding as the words that they're calling it. I know there's words like power downs and things of that nature that you have to do with the lineman. But so when you look at this, so I had the opportunity to speak with the Red Elephant Club in Panama City about this. I had my take on this. I'll give you mine. I want Griff to kind of tell me where I'm wrong. I'm not an offensive line coach, but I was a head coach. I thought he turned a little bit too fast as opposed to going vertical set a little bit longer. That was one. Okay. I do get the opportunity on Friday to actually speak to a group in Tuscaloosa, which is going to be kind of cool for me to do, to go through some film. So I really want to pick Griff's mindset a little bit when I'm talking about offensive line play and how we can be better in the pass rush, because we're going to need Milrow to be able to step up and throw the ball. All right, Griff. So let's talk about this, particularly about pass pro, and what are we telling Proctor on this to try to help him be a little bit better?
Yeah, well, first of all, my first thing about this is Proctor. He's taken some lumps this year from all the critics, but really a lot of the stuff we've seen is nothing more than just an 18-year-old kid who's been thrown into a starting role in the SEC play. As a kid, he was probably going to prom 6 months ago, and now he's out here with these dudes. So it's expected that he's got some ground to make up. And so and you know how this goes, George. Once they see a weakness on something like this, every team's going to try to exploit it. And if they can throw everything at that hole and get 10 big plays a game out of it, well, they've wrecked your plan. So what you got here, you got 74. He's got a wide rusher. This is big on big protection, and back on backer. So he's got a wide guy. So it looks to me like he's a little indecisive here. He really should be taking a pretty lengthy drop step. If you want to see somebody do this like textbook, go look up Andrew Whitworth and that dude and how he drop steps.
Is he still playing?
When you say drop, that is straight backwards,
kicking
going straight back.
You're kicking vertical. So vertical to about a 30% angle, away from the quarterback. So and you're going to adjust that going up again. So what Proctor's doing here, he's somewhere in between a drop step and a jump set. A jump set is something that we were coached to do. If we had a guy that in a tighter technique, and maybe it was a quick, powerful guy that had a really good counter or two-move rush move, that we were worried about getting beat on that, and you would jump step them and get your hands on them and shut the move down before it ever starts. And so that's effective in certain cases. But here you got a wide technique, and you got a guy that has struggled with the edge rush all year long. So he needs to be thinking depth, faster drop step, more depth, and keep the hip square. Well, by taking this kind of halfway in between little drop short set here, he immediately has to turn his hips. When he turns his hips versus a speed guy, it's over with. Ideally, you never want to have to turn your hips until you're even with the quarterback and that defender gets even with your hips. And then you turn them, you flip them, and you try to run the guy up the field. But see, it's happening so quickly here in this play, there's nowhere to run him to. And he's had to come, he's extended his hips, so he's up out of his stance and loses his leverage. So all those are things that happen, when you set too quickly, not deep enough, and you have to flip your hips just to keep up with the guy. And it just breaks it down from the outside in immediately.
Do you think we do enough of chipping and things to his side? Have you really paid attention to that a little bit to try to help him when you got a young guy like that? Do we do enough to give him a little bit of help in pass pro?
Well, I don't think we've done enough of it. I mean, when you got a young guy like this, that's the first line of defense. Is you got to send somebody over there to help, and while they figure out what they're doing here. And so I don't feel like we've done it enough. But quite honestly, the games I've watched, when we did do it, our tight ends and our H-backs have not done a great job. It's like they're rushing themselves to get out into their route. And so they're there and in theory to help, but they haven't given any. They're not getting enough on the guy, on their chip. They seem to be concerned with getting out in their route. So we've done it some, but I don't think those guys have executed it very well when they're called to do it.
Okay, excellent. All right, well, is there anything, if you can go back to the beginning, that you would say on the other side that you like about what the linemen doing? You got the center and the guard on both sides. Well, on the left side that are, 52's kind of looking at the other guy. He pops out, so he goes back to the right to help the center. Could that change? Could he go left? Or is that not common? I don't know. I'm just thinking from a guard perspective.
Thing out on me.
Hello?
Say that
Am
again.
I freezing or is that him? Yeah.
Can you
Say it
hear me?
again, Griff.
Yes.
Yep.
I got you now. Can you hear me?
Yep.
You're good.
Okay, good. So what you got here? You got the left guard and center. They're both responsible for helping on this guy. The center's looking right, looking to give the right guard help if that guy spins back inside or makes a counter move inside. So everything looks great there. Then you look at 65. So if you notice, his set and 74 set don't look entirely different, but it's the difference in patience versus panic is what I call it. So you can see how he's setting quicker, deeper, but you can tell he's being patient as opposed to rushing to the spot. So we always had this one saying, you cut off speed, you don't jump to it. So I think that's why he's got a little bit more experience under his belt. So you see him getting deeper with that vertical set, and waiting on the defender to come to him instead of rushing out there like 74 has been prone to do, and getting beat with his hips turned.
Okay. Excellent. Well, there it is, man. That's that high level football talk. We really do appreciate you bringing that stuff in because I'm serious, man. Because this is, I mean, JT and I talk about it as coaches and as ads and how important it is to have the quality coaching you got to have up front because there's so many things that you guys have to do. I was I don't know if it was on our show or one of the Cowboy shows I was doing. I was just talking about what you have to do with your eyes as a lineman when you're trying to, as an offensive lineman, to work these double teams. You got to see, well, the guy right in front of you, but you got to work your way up to somebody else, a backer, a blitzer, or something. you know, then when people start moving around, your whole mindset has to change. So I don't know that we give enough credit to offensive linemen on how difficult it is to be really, really good at that. And then you got to be on your own against these defensive ends, like one that they got at LSU, where they're going to be coming off this edge. The Bosa's, the J.J. Watts, the Michael Parsons, and all these guys that are just running around out there, and you're trying to figure out how you the. Yeah, I like that. Griffin needs to sell Reese a good jumbo package. Yes, sir, you do. With that custom packaging that Griff does, he can go ahead and send them something in the mail. But anyway, that's our love for the linemen, right? JT, before we close out, you hear my boys? Did we just score again or something? Rangers score again?
No, it's bottom of the seventh. There's 2 outs. Looks like they just got the 3rd out in the bottom of the 7th.
Okay. Well, all right. So, JT, how you want to, before we let our guests go, any other points you need to say about offensive line play? And
No, but we do have a question for Griff. It says, before you let Griff go, please have him recap that win against LSU in 1999 to win the West.
you're
Oh
like, I
man,
don't remember that shit.
I had to think for a second, but yeah, that was a great one, man. That was we came in there and it was I can't remember the score of the game, but it was tight, and it comes down to the last drive, and we lost 3 defensive starters to injury on the last drive. Canary Knight went down with a broken leg. Let's see, Kenny Smith, our defensive tackle, went down with a torn meniscus, and then it came down to a goal line play. I think Booty was their quarterback, and he had a run pass option play, and elected to keep it from about the 1 or 2 yard line. And Marvin Constant, who we've already talked about here tonight, made an amazing play on the ball, stopped it, and everybody knows the rest of the story. There had one of the most serious knee injuries I've ever seen in person on that play, and went down, but made the play, and we won the game. And it was such a bam play. Nobody really knew what happened. They didn't know if he scored. They didn't know if he was stopped short. The referees run off the field, and it's like it's over, and we won. And anyway, it was a fun day. But then everybody clears the field, and you got 3 guys, 3 guys down in a matter of about 5 minutes on one drive. So that part wasn't a whole lot of fun, but it was a big game.
That is pretty good, and we do appreciate you sharing that. And for Marvin's sake, I think that he ended up getting married right after that play because they knew that Marvin Constant could hit that boo tay.
Oh, my God.
Yes, sir. All right. I think that's going to do it for our show today. We're going to go out with a great one today. I'm going to get in and watch some more of this Rangers game. Y'all make sure you guys subscribe because we're going to drop some more videos for you this week about the Tennessee game. All right? Only on Teague Tape. We're going to see y'all next Wednesday with Marvin Constant. Same time, same place, same show. Peace.